What's up everyone, I'm CallumOnToast, and in today's video I've got some absolutely insane battles to show you guys that were submitted to the channel by the two-time winner of the Battle of Spice competition here on the channel and the undisputed champion of Spice, Windows 7 Aero. So if you haven't seen that video, I'm going to show you guys now in the background whilst I'm doing this intro, Windows 7 Aero's entry to the competition, and you're going to understand very quickly why they were able to win the entire competition, because Yanma goes on an absolutely insane run and is able to 3v1 a full team in the Go Battle League. But it's not just Yanma that's spicy on this team, he's also running Duosion and a level 50 Loudred, so that is an absolutely insane team, and you might be thinking, having seen that battle, well surely that was just a fluke, you're not going to be able to replicate something like that again, and you're absolutely wrong, because this trainer sent me 10 absolutely insane battles and this is going to be one of the most entertaining videos you've ever seen in GBL. Now, one thing to note before we go into the battles is that we've actually seen Niantic make changes to Ancient Power, Silver Wind and Ominous Wind, meaning that they deal more base damage now, but the boost only boosts the attack and defense by one stage instead of two stages like we'll see in these battles. I asked Niantic, why on earth did you make that change? And they told me that it was because Yanma just kept on getting out of hand and sweeping teams, and it was just unfair for all of the opponents that weren't using Yanma. So with that being said, let's get into the question of the day. We finally have information about the moveset update for Season 12 of Go Battle League. We've seen plenty of Pokemon learn new moves and receive buffs. We even saw some of the dominant Pokemon receiving nerfs to their moves, but there were plenty of Pokemon that were left untouched. So I want to know, which Pokemon do you think is still too overpowered and should have received a nerf, and also which Pokemon would you have loved to see buffed but unfortunately was left untouched? Let me know in the comment section below, and with that being said, let's get into the battles now. Alright, so entering the first battle here, we lead into a Primeape, so a very good lead for us. The opponent stays in for a while, but they switch eventually into Mantine here. We don't really have a response, so we're going to switch into the Duosion here, and we let an Aerial Ace go through. That actually does a pretty big chunk of damage here to the Duosion, and they get to another charge move before we even get to the Psyshock here. Aerial Ace takes us out, we just completely sacrifice it, so yeah, Duosion, not a very good Pokemon, and honestly, this whole team isn't very good on paper, but you're going to see we absolutely destroy some teams here. We're able to farm down the Mantine here. They come back in with the Primeape. Oh, they're going to shield a Disarming Voice? Yes, they are, but we switch into the Yanma. We go for a Silver Wind bait, expecting another shield, and we get the final shield, and we get the Silver Wind boost, and you guys know what's going to happen here. They bait us with a cross chop, and they're not even able to get to another Ice Punch, so this is just going to be another cross chop. We let it go through, and they come in with a Medicham. We're going for a boosted Aerial Ace, and that does so much damage, and we're able to farm down the Medicham and take that game. Into the next game, we lead into a Flygon, and if they're running Mud Shot, which they are, then we're going to be able to triple resist the fast moves here. We're going to no shield this first Dragon Claw. It does about 40%, so quite a significant amount, but we're going for the Silver Wind here. Can we get the shield? Yes, and we get a boost once again, and Yanma is going to absolutely tear in this matchup once again. We let the Dragon Claw go through. The opponent is able to get to another Dragon Claw, so we will shield this up. Hopefully we can wing attack, farm them down, and we're just barely able to, which is perfect. The opponent comes in with, I think that was a Jirachi. We go for a Silver Wind again. We get the final shield, and we're able to get to one more Silver Wind before we're taking out here. And this Silver Wind does a pretty significant amount of damage, and unfortunately we are farmed down there. We switch into the Duosion here, up against the Surfetched. We're going to shield this Night Slash. It would do a pretty significant amount of damage. We go for the Psyshock straight away. This will easily take out the Surfetched. And now we're going to force this Jirachi to throw their energy into this Duosion, and at this point we should be able to just bite, farm down the Jirachi and take that game. Into the next game, we lead into an Oranguru. This is a decent matchup here, as we do hit for super effective damage with the Silver Wind, but these confusions are absolutely chunking. We go for the Silver Wind, and we don't get a boost. Okay, the boost isn't a 100% chance. We go for the shield there on the foul play, and the opponent switches into a float soul, so the opponent is running some spice as well. We go for the silver wind. That actually did so much damage to the float soul. We're going to come in with the Duosion here, and once again we're just going to use this as a meat shield. They go for an Aqua Jet, a rubbish move, but that did a ton of damage, and we're just barely able to get to a side shock here. Both moves are resisted. But we do get the final shield from the Oranguru, and at this point we should be able to one shield and farm them down, so we're going to do that. We shield a foul play, they actually switch into a Charizard here, and they don't commit to the blast burn, meaning we're able to CMP tie with this Dragon Claw, go for a Stomp. Stomp, not a very good move, but it should do a decent amount of damage to the Charizard, and we're able to bite, farm them down. They come in with the Oranguru, and we're able to bite, farm down the Oranguru, and take that game. Into the next game, a very good lead here up against a Razor Leaf Ivysaur. The opponent switches out into another Mantine here, so kind of weird that we're seeing multiple Mantines on the opponent's teams, but I don't know what is going on with these matchups here. We let the first move go through, and the second move is a CMP tie here on this Psyshock. The opponent shields it up, and once again I think we're just going to sacrifice this Duosion. All it does here is take the charge move damage from the opponent's Pokemon. We come in with the Loudred, and once again we're going to look to farm down. Unfortunately they do get to one more charge move up against the Loudred. It is a Water Pulse, so that would have done a decent amount of damage, but both moves from the Mantine are pretty lackluster. They come in with a Charm Raichu here. We're going for Stomp. We're able to get a shield, and we switch into the Yanma, and we're able to throw the Silver Wind before they can throw a charge move. Silver Wind takes out the Raichu here. We're going for an Aerial Ace. This should do a ton of damage to the Ivysaur. We take out the Ivysaur as well, and we're able to take that game. Into the next game, we lead into an Altaria. Now that is not a very good lead whatsoever. We come in with the Loudred here. We're going to shield up this Sky Attack, and we're going to go for this Disarming Voice here. If the Altaria no shields, it will do a ton of damage, but they do shield it up, and it looks like they're going to be able to fully Dragon Breath, farm them down, but they don't, and they throw a move instead, which gives us a lifeline. We're going to come in with the Duosion here, and the opponent comes in with a Beedrill. We're able to get to a Psyshock here, and this will do a ton of damage up against the Beedrill, so we do get the final shield from the opponent. We're going to let this move go through. Fell Stinger doesn't take us out, and we switch into the Yanma, which is a very smart play there. We don't want to get farmed down unnecessarily from the Beedrill. We switch into the Yanma, and we're able to farm them down here, go for an Aerial Ace up against this Altaria. Will this be enough to take them out? Yes it is, and they have a Toxicroak in the back. We're going for one more Aerial Ace. How much damage is this going to do? It takes out the Toxicroak, and that was insane. Aerial Ace typically seen as a very bad move, but on Yanma it seems like an incredible nuke charge move. We switch into the Duosion here once again to just take this damage here. It's not even bulky, but we're just fine with sacrificing it in pretty much every single game, and I don't blame him. It doesn't look like the moveset is very good at all. We're going to come back in with the Yanma, go for a Silver Wind up against the Swampert, and we get a shield, and we get the boost, which is insane. And at this point, I think we will shield up this first Hydro Cannon. They'll probably get to one more, but we're going to look to completely Wing Attack, farm down this Swampert. Second Hydro Cannon does land. It does a significant amount of damage, but they come in with a Magmortar. We're going to bait them with the Silver Wind here. Can we get a shield? Yes, we're able to, and we're now going for the Aerial Ace. Can we take out a Fire type with a Bug? Yes, we can. Aerial Ace takes them out, and they have a Victory Bell in the back, and we're able to sweep another team with the Yanma. This Aerial Ace easily takes out the Victory Bell, and we take that game. Into the next game, we lead into a Jellicent. Not a very good lead, but we're actually just going to switch into the Duosion and completely sacrifice it. Duosion does have a type disadvantage, so we're actually going to shield this up and then go for a Nightshade probably, and we are able to get to it here, and this will do a decent amount of damage, but Nightshade is a pretty awful move. The opponent actually shields it up, and they're able to fully Hex farm us down, which is not good, but we do have a very good response here in the form of Loudred. The opponent is kind of thinking, what the heck am I doing up against this thing? We're going to go for a charge move. Shadow Ball is double resisted. That is a misplay. They come in with Obstagoon, and we have a good answer here in the Yanma. But these Night Slashes will do a pretty big amount of chunk damage. We go for the Silver Wind up against the Obstagoon. Can we get another boost? No, but they do let it go through, which means we should just barely be able to wing attack, farm them down before they get to a final Night Slash, and we are able to, which is perfect. They come in with an Alolan Raichu. We're going for the Silver Wind. It's super effective damage, but we're taking super effective damage from the Volt Switches. We do get a boost, although in this case it is not that useful, and we go for a move. The Raichu is for some reason farming up a ton of energy. We land a Stomp, we take out the Raichu, and we're able to bite, farm down the Jellicent, and take that game. So not sure why the Alolan Raichu farmed up so much energy, but we were able to take it. Into the next game here, we're going to let this first move go through from the Obstagoon, and they go for an Obstruct, which doesn't do an awful lot of damage. We're going for the Silver Wind up against the Obstagoon. We get a shield, and we get the boost once again. So Yanma just absolutely destroying as usual. This is insane. We go for another Silver Wind. We get both shields from this Obstagoon, and the opponent is going to go for one more Obstruct, but we're going to go for one more Silver Wind on a CMP tie once again, and the opponent threw a random time, so that is very fortunate, but we're able to take out the Obstagoon there. They come in with a Flareon. We switch instantly into the Duosion here, and we will be shielding up this move, and it's a flamethrower, so a good shield there. We're going to go for a Side Shock just before we go down. We don't really want to give the opponent too much farm, so we take out the Flareon. They come in with a Toxicroak, and once again we're coming in with the Yanma here, going for an Aerial Ace, and this will be nuking the Toxicroak. Boom, we take him out, and we take that game. Into the next game, we lead into a Soul Rock, and that is not good. They do have Rock Throw as the fast move, so we have to get out of there instantly. We're going to shield up this charge move. It is a Rock Slide, so that would have easily taken us out. We go for the Nightshade here. It's super effective damage. The opponent lets it go through, and we're able to win switch advantage. Finally, Duosion actually won a battle. And we come in with the Yanma here. We're going to easily be able to take out this Victory Bell. They're actually running Acid, I think, as a fast move. They go for a Leaf Tornado, and they switch into a Ivysaur, and at this point it should be game over. Yanma goes for the Silver Wind bait. We do get the shield, and we're able to catch the Sludge Bomb onto the Loudred, which was absolutely insane. Really good play there. And this Ivysaur has to throw another charge move to take out this Loudred before we bite farm them down. And now we can come in with the Yanma, go for a Silver Wind. This will easily take out the Ivysaur. Actually, we get the final shield, and we get the boost, and that is absolutely insane because we can now farm down this Victory Bell and take that game. Now into the final battle here, we lead into an Executor. They switch into another Flareon, and once again we're coming in with the Duosion here, and we're actually able to get to a charge move before this Flareon throws a move, and we do get a shield advantage, which is nice, but the opponent smartly farms them down fully. We come in with Loudred, and we're going to see what we do here. We do shield it up. It's a flamethrower, but we're able to bite, farm them down before they get to another charge move. They come in with Executor, but they're taking massive super effective damage from these bites. We get to a Stomp. Stomp does get the final shield from the opponent, and at this point I think we're going to put it all on the Yanma. No, we're not. We're going to shield that up, and now we switch, and they have another Floatzel. So I've never seen a Floatzel win battle, so seeing two of them in 10 battles is pretty insane. We're able to just barely farm down the Floatzel, and we get to a Silver Wind before the confusion KOs. Silver Wind easily enough to take out the Executor after this lag, and we take that game. So that's going to be it for today's video, and those were some absolutely insane battles, and you can see why Niantic has made changes to Ancient Power, Ominous Wind and Silver Wind, because even a Pokemon like Yanma, a Pokemon that is typically not seen as very strong, can absolutely dominate in the Great League if it gets a boost. So I do understand why they made that change, but unfortunately it does mean that Yanma isn't going to be able to make some insane plays like this in the future. So it is really awesome that we got to see it in its peak just before it got nerfed. So if you enjoyed today's video, make sure you leave a like. Also show your support to Windows 7 Aero for submitting some absolutely insane and entertaining gameplay. And as well, if you've not yet responded to the question of the day, make sure you do so for a chance at a shout out in my next video. If you're new and you want to see more content like this in the future, then make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on post notifications so that you're notified whenever I upload a new video. And with that being said, let's get into the shoutouts from my previous video. So firstly, I'm going to be shouting out the 3 people that guessed closest to the correct answer, and then I will be revealing my final ELO after 3 days worth of battles in the Open Ultra League using a team of Great League Pokemon. So firstly, I'm going to shout out Unizek F, apologies if I butchered your name, but they mentioned that it was a challenge for 1500 CP Pokemon in the Ultra League, so you should end the sets with 1500 ELO too. And I can tell you that they're not far off with that guess, and as well I did start in the 2500s for this challenge, so that's a pretty crazy coincidence actually. But they also did comment as I was recording the battles for this video, so they just barely make it into today's shoutouts, which is really cool as well. And next we've got Ethan Groff and Andrew Richter, who both mentioned that 1650 is probably a good guess based on the Pokemon that I was facing up against. So I can now reveal that my final rating after 3 days of battles in the Open Ultra League using a team of Great League Pokemon was 1596. So I ended up dropping nearly 1000 ELO in just 3 days, but I can tell you it was absolutely worth it to make this video. And with that being said, thank you all so much for watching today's video, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.